So during our practice, in the second stage of the practice, where we are experiencing the sense of being held, I often use the phrase, and because you know you are held, you can relax. You can let go. So I want to start out tonight with making very clear, or to get clarity about why we relax. And we don't relax simply so that our bodies feel better. That's a great benefit, and that is certainly a great practice, but that is not our practice. We relax in order to disrupt a cycle of contraction and tension and be able to return to a natural flow of our being. So part of our being is the physical being, physical part of ourselves. And so, of course, there are times when you have a long day, where you've worked really hard, or when you've been on your feet for a long time, and you're aware of the ways that maybe you can help your body release some of that tension. You might take a hot bath. You might lay on the couch. We seek to kind of let some of that contraction and holding back out of the body. So the same thing happens, of course, psychically. Hang on, something's blocking my view. So let's say we have a bad day at work. We're mad at somebody, or somebody's mad at us, or we're hurt. And so we all know there are healthy ways to deal with that, and healthy ways to discharge the energy from that might be held in the body. We might take a walk, we might take a bike ride, we might take another bath. But we might do things like say, I need a drink. We might get on our phone and look at other people being mean to people and pile on, or feel relieved that we're not the ones that are being mean to. We might kick the dog. We might hit the wife. We might take a gun to a mall and kill complete strangers. So I know this sounds dramatic, and we can say, well, nobody in this room is going to do that. But this is what's happening in our world and in our culture. And part of the reason is because we've lost track of how to discharge this tension, this energy that we're carrying around in our beings. So I believe that one of the reasons we're in the state that we're in, and the state being anger, division, hatred, violence, rampant drug use and addiction, is that in a very short time, we have simultaneously been exposed to more and more and more of what creates the psychic contraction and tension. So meanness, over-the-top violence in our entertainment, 24-hour news cycle, which contains the outrage machine, our phones where we're constantly plugged in and scrolling. And at the same time, we have lost track with our healthy ways to discharge energy. So nature, stillness. So even to the point of how busy everyone is, how we fill our schedules, fill every moment of our day. So we've lost touch with prayer, with contemplation, with just sitting. I had relatives that I observed just sitting under a tree, simply being with others, watching a sunset without taking a photo of it. So, a really simplistic example, of course, of more and more and more tension without discharge is putting too much air in a balloon. We all know what happens when we do that. It blows, it pops. So the energy from that, from too much tension, can be directed outward at others, or it can be directed inward with self-hatred and self-harm. So what do we do about this problem? I think, well, I would guess a huge majority of Americans are asking, how do we fix the state that we're in? And I fear that no one is going to like my answer. The answer is that we, those of us in this room or hear this recording, need to learn to relax. And that is what we're doing in our practice. And it's not so that we can feel better. It's not so that the situations in the world don't affect us. In learning to let go, we relax and we let psychic energy flow through us. So that serves everyone we come into contact with. If we are walking around in contracted and tensed up states, people know this. Their psychic energy knows this, whether you say anything or not. And it's my belief that if we practice returning to our open state, we actually help in the evolution of the human consciousness, of our humanity evolves as we learn how to be differently in the world. So here's how this all works. This is from the book Soul Without Shame that we've been studying. So we're going to go all the way back to the beginning, when you were an infant. And when you were an infant without conscious awareness or control of yourself, there was a spontaneous and natural flow to how you interacted with life. And the flow was intertwined with the responsive presence of your mother or your caregivers. Together, they express the simple beingness of true nature and the natural way the individual soul is part of reality. So that if a challenge arose in you, hunger, your parent, your caregiver sensed it and fed you. And if she wasn't around, your body responded by becoming agitated in an effort to get a response and to get the attention that you needed. And if that wasn't enough, you cried out and mother came. And when she arrived, you relaxed, you were fed, and eventually you slept. So the right attunement between you and your mother resulted in this natural ebb and flow of energy. that ebb and flow of tension and relaxation, expansion and contraction, activity and rest, overexcitement and calm. So we had a certain capacity as infants, a limited capacity to tolerate frustration. So our charge could build up to a certain point before it needed discharged in crying or fussing. And then we were responded to. We were given what we needed. Holding is a big one. Feeding, changing, burping. And then we could relax again. As you grew older, your capacity to tolerate discomfort increased, and you could delay your gratification. That's a good thing. That helps us to be in the world. However, eventually, when our needs weren't met, the frustration would build but not be released. It would not be discharged. And it would become overwhelming, so that our soul responded by shutting down our sensitivity to frustration and charge. Whatever the intolerable feeling, you would numb yourself to it in order to carry on. That shutdown occurred to varying degrees in everyone, and it circumvented the natural cycle of charge and discharge. Instead of a real discharge, then, there became a freezing of the charge in the physical, energetic, and psychic system. So we all carry tension and psychic pain from our past and our present. None of us are immune to it. And psychic pain still comes in the form of news and worry and hurt. And our job, our work, is to learn to let it flow out again. So when we control our own experience and tamp it down without letting it go, and we don't return to a state of relaxation and flow, then it's as though we become a dammed up river. So everything just keeps backing up. And we can't have the flow of love, compassion, spaciousness, curiosity, and joy. So when we are able to clear that flow, we can feel all those things, and we can feel the flow of all of those things. But everybody around us can also experience it. And we can also offer it out into the world as blessing, as love. But when we live in and from the relaxation of surrendered presence, all of those things flow into the world, and they can heal and transform the world. We are all here because we want to heal and be better, but we are also here because we want to heal and transform the world. Let's enter into our time of surrendered presence. And so I invite you to drop into your own experience and to not attempt to shift out of tension. I would guess that the things that I brought up have caused some rumblings in you. And the invitation here is to stay open to those, to stay open to our fears and our hurt, to the state of the world and to the helpless feelings that we have. And see if instead of shutting down or contracting around them, you can just let them be. So feel whatever it is you feel. If you do feel tense, tight, constricted, just notice that. If you feel disappointed that we didn't talk about something sweeter and nicer, notice that. Notice what your thoughts are. Notice the condition of your heart. Maybe it's breaking a little. And as I often talk about, we need to know that we are held. We need to know that we are held in order to be able to relax. I don't feel relaxed right now. I feel the fear and worry. So become aware of your feet on the floor. Become aware of the way you're being acted upon by gravity and how the earth is pulling you into itself. Feel yourself here in this moment, just here, this moment. And now I want you to imagine that you are an infant again. And that you're feeling all of these things that we're feeling now. And a complete, loving, and attentive mother comes and picks you up. And holds you so that you can feel the warmth. You can feel the way the arms wrap around you, so you feel that security. You feel the nourishment and the nurturing. You feel the way you're attended to. All of this is love. Those are all the characteristics of love. And love is available to us. And because we know we are held, we can relax. We can let go. And see if you are able to let go to whatever degree, if you can feel a flow of love, or of openness, compassion, flow of acceptance and non-judgment. And all of that flowing towards you and holding you, and also arising in you. If you can begin to feel trust arising. So that the contraction and holding and defending in our body becomes relaxation. And the contraction and the constriction become expansion, opening up your whole being. Our anxious activity, including our mind, becomes rest. Our worry, our overexcitement becomes calm. Now bringing awareness to your breath. And just seeing if each breath can carry you a little more deeply into relaxation, a little more letting go with each out breath. You simply allow yourself to be held in love. And you recognize all beings being held in love. If you want this world to be a more loving place, you have to let love flow through you. And that doesn't happen by working harder at being loving. It happens by clearing the obstacles to the flow of love. And you clear those obstacles by letting them go. Thank you so much for practicing with me. See you all soon.